Hello, wonderful people out there. I want to welcome all of you to this section of Leadership Academy. I know we've been looking forward to this moment. Today's topic is a very interesting one. I know it's a hot button we are pushing today, but as this program always says, we push the hot buttons, we ask the questions that nobody dares to ask. That's what we do on Leadership Academy. I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to today's Leadership Academy. And the topic we're going to be discussing is democracy good for Africa? Is democracy good for Africa? And I know it's a hot button. I just want to encourage everybody to comment politely if you have a dissenting view. If you have an opinion which is contrary to what we're discussing, we ask that you will present that view respectfully, because opinions are like noses, as we say, everybody has one. So the fact that my opinion is different from your opinion does not make me right nor make me wrong. We're here to discuss issues. We're here to put our minds together, our heads together, to be able to learn and equip ourselves and prepare ourselves to serve our generation better. So, first of all, let's take a look at the word democracy. Democracy. And democracy is a Greek word, or it started as a Greek word. It is demos and kratia. Demos and kratia. It means the power of the people. The power of the people, that is what it means. So, we've had the discussions concerning this particular topic about if democracy is good for Africa or not. And I've heard all the arguments we've made. Some believe that democracy is a Western philosophy, or it's a Western political institution being imposed on Africa. Others believe that democracy should be fine-tuned to suit the African continent or the African people, so to speak. Today we'll take an extensive look at all these opinions, and we will draw a conclusion as to whether democracy is good for Africa or not. So, as I said, democracy simply means the power of the people. The power of the people. And the state in which Africa finds itself, we've gone through various political dispensations. We have seen coup d'etats. We are now in a dispensation of democracy, so to speak. And I believe that some of the confusion or the different opinions are coming from the state in which Africa finds itself now, supposedly being in a democratic environment or dispensation, and we still seem not to be moving forward or progressing as we ought to, or we are expecting to progress. I just want to say this. The democracy we practice in Africa looks like a democracy. It has the form and the features of democracy as we think it is practiced in the West. But we'll look at democracy and look at the the foundational pillars of democracy and compare it to what we have in Africa to see if we really have democracy in Africa as we call it today. So one of the foundational pillars of democracy is the people. It says the power of the people. That is the meaning of democracy. So if it is the power of the people, then it means that the people's well-being should be the central point of democracy. And I believe we all agree to this point. So if it is the power of the people and the people's well-being is not the central point of democracy, then what we have might look like democracy, but it might not be democracy. So one of the pillars of democracy is respect for human rights. Respect for human rights. In other words, human rights it's one of the foundations of democracy. So you cannot have democracy, or you cannot claim to be practicing democracy without human rights, without respect for human rights. Again, one of the foundations of democracy, be it that it is the power of the people, then the people will have to be able to rule themselves. But as we all know, we all cannot be part of the government physically, but we can be part of the government in other ways, in various ways. That is why democracy believes in voting. In other words, and let me say this here. It might be a little bit of digression, but I just want to chip in this. You see, giving somebody the authority to make laws that you agree with, or sometimes you disagree with, but it's in favor, or it's in favor of your interest, it's very important. And that is exactly what we do anytime we go to the ballot box. Because all of us cannot be part of the government, then we have to elect some people to be part of the government. And in other words, we have to find out people we can trust, people we think are intelligent enough to be able to make decisions on our behalf, because they're going to write laws on our behalf. And like I said, some of the laws we may agree with or we may not agree with, but the intent of the law is very important. The intent is to bring us to a place where we can realize our potential, because that is one of the roles the government had to play, to help us develop our gifts. So in our various capacities, we can serve or help our communities. So if we are going to elect people, then we have to think twice about it, because our future is at stake. The betterment of our country or our community is at stake. So this goes to those of you who collect a few sums of money and you sell your interest to a selfish individual who goes out there and has no clue what his or her responsibilities are and makes a mess of the situation and amass wealth out of your trust to get that person to a place where the person will make laws in your interest. So back to the issue of democracy, it's about the people. So because all of us cannot be in government and make laws to govern our communities or our society, then we have to elect people, which is part of democracy. Because remember, it says the power of the people. So the people has the power to elect or to make laws to govern themselves. But because we cannot all be part of the government to govern ourselves, then we have to elect people we can trust into places where they will make laws to help us govern our communities and live in peace and be able to harness and develop our gifts to serve them to our communities. So, one, we have to elect people into offices. Two, we have to make sure the people we are electing into office are not based on shallow ideologies. Like, oh, he is from my tribe. Oh, he is my brother. Oh, he is handsome. Oh, this person is tall. This person is too short. This person, I don't like his nose. These are all, excuse my language, foolish ideologies or perceptions we have, or based on which we make important decisions as to electing somebody to go and write laws to govern our communities and our societies. So it is very, very vital. That is why in democracy, if I want to be elected into an office or into a place of making decisions to affect your life and my children's lives, I have to be scrutinized. I know we're not going to be able to finish this today. We have only 30 minutes and we've already gone through half of the 30 minutes, but we're going to continue next week. So I have to be scrutinized. The people I claim to be representing would have to have absolute trust in me, knowing that I have their interest at heart. So that is why, as part of democracy, we do town hall meetings, we do debates. It is not for fun. It is for the people to make a choice, to make an informed decision. So you tell the people what you are up to, what they are going to get when they give you that trust. Or if they trust you with the responsibility of taking care of their lives and the lives of their children and their children's children. So first of all, we have to know what you have even done with your life yourself. Because if you are not able to organize your life, then I'm sorry, you cannot organize a community. Your life would have to be an example for the people to know that we can trust this person with our lives. So first of all, what are you doing in your community? What are you doing, or what have you done to help your community, to help bring progress to your community, or to help people in your community, to bring progress to lives in your community? It's one important thing. We need to scrutinize people. We don't just claim we belong to party A, we belong to party B. And so we have to vote for whoever the party presents to us. Because remember, it is your life. That is how important it is. The laws they make govern your life and my life. So we don't just give anybody the responsibility or the authority to make decisions on our behalf. So first of all, it has to be somebody who has the interest of the community at heart. It has to be somebody who is doing something with his life to bring progress to other people, which is very paramount. It has to be somebody who understands that leadership is service with your gift to create the necessary atmosphere or the environment to be able to help people harness and develop their gifts. So it is not about somebody who thinks that at all costs I have to occupy this office. So even if it's going to be to the detriment of society, if people are going to die, if people are going to be maimed, I don't care. And unfortunately, these are the kinds of politicians we have in Africa who don't even understand their responsibilities in the first place. And in Africa, we think that politics or being in government means that you have been given an opportunity to make money or to amass wealth. You see, so let's put thought, deep thought, into giving people our power or our authority to make rules and laws to govern our lives. Those laws, like I said, you may agree or may not agree, but the intent of the law will have to be geared towards developing the community or developing the human resources in that community to its fullest potential. So that is why we need to scrutinize the people. And that is why it is important that you and I would vote to make that decision. I know some people would say, my vote doesn't count, it doesn't matter, it's just me. Well, guess what? If we have 100 people who think just like you, guess what's going to happen? And you know, sometimes just a vote makes a difference. So we got to be part of the process. We cannot sit idle. We cannot sit on the fence. It is very vital and very important that we become part of the process of selecting whoever is going to represent us. Because mind you, it is you who is governing you. But because you cannot be part of the government, we delegate our views, our plans, our ideas, our our perspectives of things to somebody. And we think this person is intelligent enough to make decisions on my behalf. So we got to be part of the process. With that being said, the second point, so I've spoken about the people, the power of the people. The second point is that democracy, because it is about the people, it should be about the development of the people. So the second point is, are laws being written to help the people develop their gifts? That's another question we need to ask ourselves. Are laws being written to help the people or the community to harness and realize its full potential? Is the next question we have to ask ourselves. So, if the laws are being made, then it means that the laws become supreme, because it is us. We have agreed to write these laws and abide by these laws. And remember, because it is the power of the people, demoskratia, the power of the people. So, like I said, because all of us cannot be part of the government, then we need a delegation to be part of the government, to make decisions on our behalf. So number two is, are these decisions, these policies, these laws in our interest? Is the next question we have to ask ourselves. Is it helping us to harness our potentials? Because at the end of the day, we need to fulfill our purpose. And these rules, regulations, laws have to help us in that direction. So that is the next question we need to ask ourselves. So that is where human rights come in. So we are talking about the foundational pillars of democracy. What makes us know that this is democracy, but this is not democracy? We may have something that looks like democracy, but in reality, will not be democracy. So these are some of the features we need to be looking out for when we're talking about democracy. Demoskratia. These are some of the features. Are these laws, are these policies in our favor, in our interest? Do they write these policies with us in mind? Because remember, it is us governing us. So if these policies are not written with us in mind, then we need to question that. And so that is why we have what we call the rule of law in democracy. Because the law has been written as though you were part of it, because you delegated the people to go write the laws. So when we write the laws and we decide that we are going to abide by these laws, then the laws become supreme in the land. In other words, nobody is above the law, irrespective of who you are. Because remember, it is all of us governing us. So in order for there to be equity, then we need something supreme, something above us that will guide us into helping us to harness and develop our potentials. And that is the law. So that is why when you hear the supremacy of the law in democracy, that is the foundation of it. It's a foundational pillar of democracy. So second, the law becomes supreme. And what does the law do is another thing we have to think about. The law is supposed to help us develop our potential or get to our fullest potential so we can serve our communities. So now we have to look at the laws. If it is going to help us develop our potentials or help us to get to the fullest, our fullest potential, then it's a good law. So then my rights, your rights comes into play. That is why we call the human rights. Because my right to develop my gift is at stake. It was the central point of the writing of the law or the policy. It is to help me develop my gift. So, number one, we have to think about who we elect to represent us to write those laws. Number two, we have to think about the laws and the policies that have been written on our behalf and hold them in highest esteem, because they become the supreme law of the land. That is why it is called the supreme law of the land. The Constitution, that is the law, which is written on our behalf. They wrote them with us in mind because we told them to write the things they wrote. That is why we need intelligent people. Sometimes you hear people saying common sense. Common sense does not cut it. As a matter of fact, common sense is what has gotten Africa where it is today. Because common sense is a common reaction to things. If I'm hungry, common sense will tell me go find food to eat. We need intelligent people. People who will find out what kind of food do I need. Do I just need food to fill my stomach, or I need food that will feed me with nutrients for me to grow better? That is intelligence. So common sense is just a reflex action. Yet, if somebody is going to poke my eyes, common sense will tell me close my eyes, close your eyes. That is reflex action. And anybody has that. But we need people who will be intelligent, who will think through the issues and know what is going to help develop the potentials of the people. So if we are giving our power or authority to people to write laws or to make policies on our behalf, then we have to find intelligent people. Number 4, democracy, one of the foundational pillars of democracy is to make me live in freedom. In freedom. It has to make me live in freedom. And freedom is defined as your power and my power to choose. So democracy had to give me that option for me to live in freedom. And remember, we discussed freedom the other time. Freedom is not your right or the power to do anything you want. Freedom is just your power to choose. That is why nobody can take your freedom away from you. Because you can put me in chains. You can put me in 10 by 10 foot container and lock me up. But I still got the power to choose. Unfortunately, time is against us. So we are going to end here tomorrow. Next week, Saturday, we're going to pick up from freedom and continue. So the topic we're discussing is democracy good for Africa? So you can message us with your views, your questions. We are very interested to hear from you, to know your thoughts, because here on Leadership Academy, we are bumping thoughts together. Somebody asked me not to say that again, but we are bumping thoughts together in order for us to be better. We call it iron sharpeneth iron. We bring ideas on the table and we cook to make a good menu out of it. So please message us your questions, your opinions, your perceptions, your thoughts on the topic. Is democracy good for Africa? And next week, we would have the time to interact again. So please go to AfriWeek International Organization, AfriWeek International Organization on Facebook and message us. You can also find us on Instagram. On Instagram, we have AfriWeek International Organization as well as Sertoh AfriWeek. Sertoh AfriWeek. SERTOH AfriWeek. Both of them can still get to us. Just message us and we will definitely discuss your topic. And until we meet again next week, I'll say think about the topic and let's have your opinion, because on this platform, opinions are very important. We sharpen each other to get the best out of it. Thank you for watching. We'll meet again next week. Stay blessed. My name is Nana Osei Bonsu Jr. of AfriWeek International Organization. God bless you.